grade will be sponsoring the drawing March 19th. For all you parents, do you like Walt Disney? If you do, you'll love this deal. The 6th grade will be sponsoring the drawing March 19th. For all you Disney and St. Mary's fans of all ages. Raffle tickets are $1 each. St. Mary's School gets the money, and Walt Disney provides the prizes. 3rd prize is a 3-year supply of Disney books and Disney character dolls. 2nd prize, you'll receive every Disney movie you've ever dreamed of. 1st prize is 1 full year in Disney World for 2 to 4 people. You will travel by American Airlines. And you will stay at the Grand Floridian in Walt Disney World. Free tutor for your child if you wish. So join us all this week and buy your tickets, and on the big day, March 19th, you'll find out if it's your lucky day or if you've helped a great school get better. Raffle tickets will be sold at any Disney store. Winners will be announced on Mix 106.5 at 5:30 p.m. on March 19th, so buy your tickets today.
It's more than a credit card, it's smart money. Dave Johnson, U.S. decathlete.
The trick is for today's championship matchup between North Carolina and Syracuse, and Leif, this is not the first meeting this season.
Syracuse went to Carolina for their first game of the season. Now, they had a problem getting ready for this game. The NCAA basketball tournament kept them out of the dome. The blizzard conditions kept them off the practice fields. Their conditioning was not up to par. Consequently, a 7-1 run in the second half gives Carolina a 14-10 win. And that victory propelled them to the top of the polls, and they have not relinquished that spot all season long. Dave Klarman's squad had no problems in the quarterfinals nor the semis. Roy Simmons Jr.'s team is playing quite well. They have cruised into this championship matchup. The third member of our broadcast crew was the MVP in the first NCAA title game, Bob Rule, who's down on the field.
Thank you, James. I'm here with Bill Tierney, the 1992 NCAA championship coach of the Princeton Tigers. Bill, you've played both these teams this year. How would you compare the two teams?
Well, they're both very good, Bob, at the midfield, and they've got guys that can run up and down. Their attacks are comparable, and they're very strong defensively. This should be a great game.
Who do you predict to win the game today? Who do you give the edge to?
Well, I give the edge a little bit to Carolina because, interesting enough, they protect the goalie a little bit better, and I think they're going to win some faceoffs.
Now, does this prediction change if it rains?
I don't think so, because I think those are two areas that don't change very much with the weather, like shooting might or something like that. They both shoot real well.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Back to you, James.
All right, Bob, and here's how they line up. 10 men per team. There are 4 15-minute quarters, Leif.
And the teams had to be concerned about offsides on that 50-yard mark that you see in the middle of the field. 4 defensemen must always be in the defensive end of the field, 3 attackmen on the other end. Now, the goalies become the quarterback of the defense for each squad. This is Chris Saran, the senior goaltender, a 65% save percentage for that Syracuse defense. And on the other end of the field, number 3, Gary Lehrman, as we told you in the open, thrust into action midway through the season. He's getting better every game.
Senior Donnie McNichol in white, one of 4 players Carolina will typically use in face-off situations. He's the best, Leaf, and again, the key here is ball control. Ball control through face-offs and ground balls. Look for them to get them to keep the ball out of the sticks of the explosive offense from Syracuse. In the early going, Syracuse controls and has the first opportunity in goal. Here comes Lockwood. He's very dangerous right or left and has tremendous speed. A good move on a controlled fast break. The shot is off the pipe. And, JB, that's the kind of pressure they want to put on young Gary Lehrman. Syracuse in the offensive end of the field will want to put a lot of shots on that 6x6 to get him into a pressure situation as early as possible. You mentioned that Lehrman took over halfway through the season due to injury. Is confidence an important factor here? Every step up this championship ladder is a new experience for Gary Lehrman. Andy Pusha with the shot from the restraining line. Nice check by Ryan Wade. Great sound defense by Carolina. That's the trademark of Dave Klarman's team. Not as reckless, not the high-risk defense that you'll see from the Syracuse end. Syracuse with possession. Jamie Archer with the ball, playing the part of point guard, if you will, behind the goal here. He's a feeder, pure and simple, and he'll feed the ball out front. A lot of the offense coming from the midfielders. And this is midfielder John Barr operating one-on-one with the shot, and he scores. So Syracuse is on the board first. John Barr, 1-0 Syracuse.
Senior midfielder John Barr gets his 16th goal of the season. He's the most accurate shooter in the midfield, shooting 44%. And the constant pressure on this man, Gary Lehrman, finally pays dividends for Syracuse. Watch as he gets a big move on the short stick defense and then comes in and right through the old 5-hole between the legs of Lehrman with that low, hard shot.
Syracuse continues to control the faceoffs and operating on the offensive end again. North Carolina known for its defense. A lot of hard checking here, Leif. Now, is that legal?
I think in any other game that would be called a slash. It is excessive. Oh, a save by Lehrman. Tremendous save on the shot by Colsey, and now North Carolina gets a chance to get their transition game going. North Carolina, a very opportunistic offensive team, will take its time on the offensive end. Ryan Wade slipping to the inside, shoots and scores, and North Carolina ties it up at 1 apiece. And that's exactly where Ryan Wade is most dangerous. He's a great left-handed shooter. When you give him some space in front of the goalie, it's almost impossible to stop him. Chris Saran, seeing the first pressure in his end, realizing he should have had a shot at saving that one, did not come through. Well, a lot of possession by Syracuse in this first quarter, but they only have 1 goal to show for it. Carolina comes down and matches it very quickly. That could be an emotional lift for Carolina Blue. Bob Fazy with the ball for Syracuse, knocked loose by North Carolina. Jude Collins with an excellent stick check there. Again, typical Carolina defense. It really is. Ball control is their secret. That's what they do better than most teams in Division I lacrosse. You can win the faceoff, but they'll get the ball back more times than not. Patience being displayed on the offensive end again by North Carolina. And Leif, if patience does work in one team's favor, it's Carolina. No question. They're a very disciplined team. They're aggressive, no question about it, but they're not high risk like Syracuse. Syracuse gets very impatient when you start sitting on the ball. They'll start taking chances, and the high risk sometimes works to the other team's favor. Good ball movement. Here is the ideal matchup here. John Webster on offense, Rick Beardsley on defense. That's the #1, the marquee matchup of this game. John Webster, good spin move, shoots and scores. An excellent spin move by John Webster, and Carolina moves out in front by the score of 2-1. Webster did a great job. Let's take a look at this because he's the #1 guy. Look at his options. He has a guy to his right covered, back door covered, and the front side's covered. One option left. Drive to the left-handed shot. He gets good defense by Beardsley and spins the other way. Here's Beardsley now matching up stick on stick. Webster knows that he can't go left-handed. He spins back but goes low. Normally that shot would be high. He took Saran by surprise. Excellent move and shot selection by Webster. Dave Klarman, in his 3rd season at the helm of the Tar Heel program, said before the game, Leif, that he was just going to let his guys play. And he likes to have them play a little bit more controlled game, and that's what he's seeing now. He feels more relaxed. One thing he does expect, though, is good, solid defense as we take a look at Roy Colsey, and you heard the clanging there. Again, typical Carolina defense, always keeping a stick on you. This team is as fundamentally sound as anybody in Division I lacrosse, and when you make a pass, you know that a stick will be there to interfere with it. Good crowds are commonplace for lacrosse contests here at Maryland University's Byrd Stadium. In excess of 20,000 expected for this championship game. Now, a note about out of bounds in lacrosse. That ball was thrown out of bounds by the Syracuse offense. It goes back to Carolina. If it was a shot and Syracuse threw the ball out of bounds and they were closest to it on the sideline, they would retain possession. Controlled fast break by Carolina. Nice pass to Steve Muir, and Steve Muir with the shot from the right side scores for Carolina. Scoring from an unlikely source, only his 6th goal of the season. Well, Muir's defenseman wasn't even on the field at the time. What a great job of him getting down to the crease. Ryan Wade, 19, finds #32, Muir, who wheels and fires, beating #45, Wittick, as he came in late. And Carolina enjoys a 2-goal lead here in the 1st.
By Buick's reputation for quality.
Yes clinics are offered free of charge at NCAA Championships.
Just teaching basic concepts.
The NCAA, its corporate partners, and the NCAA member schools in your community provide sponsorship for the YES program, now in its 7th year.
Yes!
The final battle for the national title. The 1993 College World Series Championship game. Next Saturday on CBS Sports.
North Carolina enjoying a 3-1 lead in this title contest and playing like it knows its field well. And in fact, it does. 4 previous outings here make this kind of a home away from home.
Doesn't feel strange being in that locker room again. So it does seem like a home away from home. Coach said at the beginning of the year that we wanted to play here 5 times, and we got our 5th chance now, so we want to make the best of it.
Maybe more importantly, JB, is that Carolina is a grass team. They like grass, and Syracuse plays in the dome. They like AstroTurf.
Syracuse controlling the faceoff. Fazy with a nice pass here. Good ball movement. Archer with a nice pass over to Steve Bettinger, who scores from the backside.
That was a textbook fast break. Syracuse does this so well. You set up a box, and then you make the defense slide to the four corners. Look at the three passes that set up the backside goal. Nothing Gary Lehrman can say about it.
And again, a good illustration for youngsters out there. The best way to beat a good defense, ball movement.
Both of these teams are exceptional in the way the full roster can handle the lacrosse ball. They have exceptional stick skills.
Good aggressive action trying to control the ball. North Carolina, again, the best defensive team in the country, riding Syracuse very nicely here.
Key is team defense, and yes, their hustle makes it really tough for teams to clear the ball against their ragging, just hard, all-out running offense.
This is Dom Finn trying to use his quickness and speed. Good team defense again by Carolina, forcing Syracuse to bring the ball back out and to set up the offense.
And Syracuse will take some time here. They want to get the face-off unit off the field and that full offensive midfield of Colsey, Fietta, and Finn on and locked and loaded.
And this is the attackman, Mark Fietta, with a little space to operate, trying to whip past John Webster. And another pipe shot, yet another one, Leif.
They are very, very close to the perimeter on their shots, putting a lot of pressure, giving Lehrman a lot of credit for a young goalie. And Roy Simmons would like to have more of those shots on the 6x6, giving much more pressure to Lehrman.
Syracuse trying to initiate the offense from the midfield. Matt Ryder fires and scores.
And you heard him hit the pipe again, JB. They are so close to the perimeter of that 6x6. This time, the shot moved over 2 inches. He finds the pipe, and it bounces into the net.
Gary Lehrman certainly didn't expect to find himself in this position earlier in the season. He's a number 3 goalie on the roster. The number 2 goalie was an academic casualty. The big shoes being filled today, those of the injured Billy Day.
Billy Day was number 1 coming into the season. He was on an All-American pace. April 3rd against Hopkins, he cracks the 6th vertebrae in his back. He won't play today. The doctors won't allow it. But his team wanted him in uniform. They sent him out at the beginning of the game for the flip of the coin.
And it's got to be awfully frustrating for Billy Day not able to play in this, his final game as a senior.
You know, JB, the faceoffs have been dominated by Syracuse, even though it's a strength of Carolina, and it's really necessary for them to get possessions and more shots.
Another fast break for Syracuse. Good ball movement, behind the back pass. Archer over to Bettinger, and Bettinger took his eye off the ball and missed the pass.
Another textbook fast break for Syracuse, and another missed opportunity.
Chad Smith moving in for the score, and yet another pipe shot, Leif.
And JB, Chad Smith is a long stick defender, but he has the green light like everybody else in this field to go to the goal.
But Chad Smith clearing the field now. Syracuse waiting on the offensive end for the substitutions. Now looking for offensive balance. Midfielder Mark Fietta gets a step on McNichol and scores. Syracuse with a 3rd unanswered goal takes the lead 4-3 here in the first.
And Fietta is really causing problems. That second midfield we talked about, Colsey and Finn are getting a lot of attention defensively, and that leaves Fietta open. He's one-on-one with McNichol and just blows by him with his great speed. The slide comes out late from Paradine, and that shot bounces up and beats Lehrman. Those shots directly in front of Lehrman have given him trouble. Klarman now thinking about how he can protect his goalie a little better.
The ball in the stick of Ryan Wade, who splits a double team. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Ryan Wade, he's dangerous from here. Decides instead to pass.
He's got the defense out of position, but the botched feed down low really took some pressure off Saran. They had the defense for Syracuse totally out of position, but just didn't handle it cleanly. Hans
Schmid with the pass in the seam to Archer, and Archer scores with 41 seconds left in the first quarter, and Syracuse goes on top by the score of 5-3.
Archer did a great job of faking out the defense of Carolina. They've had good success on the fast breaks where Archer would set up at the point in a box. This time, he cut in the seam right in front of the goalie, Lehrman, took the feed from Schmidt and put it behind him.
Bob Fazy, who's taken most of the face-offs for Syracuse, going against Jude Collins.
And Collins has been sharing a lot of those face-off duties with Donnie McNichol, so they're trying to keep a lot of pressure on Fazy.
And the ground ball finally controlled by Reggie Thorpe. Here comes another Syracuse fast break, and a whistle stops the action.
Looks like a personal foul on Dom Finn. He'll get a minute for slashing.
And this is our first extra man situation of the game, Leif.
Carolina will have the benefit of 6 offensive players against only 5 for Syracuse. And what you'll see is a perimeter offense with a lot of cutting. They'll keep the ball on the outside. The defense tries to give a little bit of pressure to the ball, leaving only the guy farthest from the ball open.
The offense is determined from the man behind the goal. You said a 1-4-1 offense.
And JB, this is a releasable penalty. If the offense scores, the penalty's over for Syracuse. Also, with time winding down, if you have possession at the end of the quarter, you get possession to begin the next quarter. Look, the ball was loose. Carolina made a mistake. That means they'll have to face it off to begin quarter number 2.
And at the end of the first quarter, Syracuse on top by 2 goals.
Does your full commission broker have you trapped in fees? Fees for trading, fees for not trading, even exit fees when you close your account. There is a better way. Charles Schwab has accounts with no annual fees and a wide variety of mutual funds with no loads. And for a limited time, this unique offer.
We'll rebate your exit fees when you move your account to Schwab.
If you feel trapped in fees,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
You can't hang on to old victories, or you'll never do better. This stuff is not the old way. It gives me soft, manageable hair without a lot of fuss.
Pert Plus, great hair, no fuss.
No matter how tough you think you are, one opponent can bring you to tears. Sunscreen in your eyes. Fortunately, there's Coppertone Sport. Ultra sweat-proof. Won't run in your eyes to sting you. Protects all day. Coppertone Sport. For those who don't take the sun lying down.
See this? It won't make you smarter. When it was decided how smart you'd be, your credit limit didn't matter. You can't buy intelligence, okay? Well, maybe you could. I mean, no card is more accepted on the planet than MasterCard. So you could buy books and computers and chemistry sets, and that could make you smarter. And Master Values discounts can save you up to 25% at thousands of stores. And if that's not buying intelligence, at least it's buying intelligently. So maybe a MasterCard could make you smarter. We ought to get you on a quiz show. MasterCard. It's more than a credit card. It's smart money.
But 800 is fundamental to the catalog business today. I don't know how many of them are with AT&T, but I'm glad that we are. On a given day, we'll take millions of dollars worth of orders in any given center. If you have the kind of business that lives and dies by an 800 service, you go with the most reliable, and that's AT&T. It makes a lot of sense. And dollars.
One of the 800 reasons to choose AT&T 800 service, the best in the business.
The gang meets a ghost from Wally's past.
Kip.
An ex-husband with an attitude.
You were Wally and Kip? What, were you raised by wolves?
1 hour, 11 more Monday.
Back for the start of the second quarter here at Byrd Stadium. Syracuse on top 5-3.
And JB, the stats really favor Syracuse. They are dominating in all the areas offensively. 25 shots to 9. Normally the amount Carolina allows in one game.
Syracuse's Mark Fietta helps the Orange to extend its lead 6-3 early in the second, but then the Tar Heel defense starts to assert itself.
Well, the personality of Carolina's defense really starts to show through. They are an aggressive bunch that take opportunities when Syracuse gives it to them.
And that opportunity, Leif, came in the person of Steve Muir. Again, an unlikely score as he picks up his second goal of the game, and Carolina narrows the gap to 6-4.
And Klarman's troops continue to put pressure on Syracuse, and it all started in the faceoff.
And that swarming Carolina defense yields dividends as Carolina comes up with the loose ball, executes a fast break of its own, and Steve Spear scores to bring Carolina to within 1.
The great transition game of Carolina started to put a lot of pressure on Roy Simmons' team. Saran was losing a little bit of his confidence. Meanwhile, the high-risk defense of Syracuse started to make some mistakes.
This mistake, a holding penalty against number 18, Pat Kugavan. That put North Carolina in an extra man offensive situation.
And now within 1, Carolina wanted to keep the pressure on Saran. They did it by putting their big gun up top, John Webster. When the ball came to him, he knew what to do with it.
And that tied the ball game at 6 apiece halfway through the second quarter. This was the kind of slugfest the fans expected. 3 ties already in the ball game, but Syracuse was looking to answer right back.
They needed a leader to step forward, and John Barr answered the call. This dramatic shot, one-handed behind the back, gives Syracuse the lead again at 7-6. Bettinger into Barr. He's being checked. He only has the right hand. He lofts it over Lehrman, and the shot of the game gives Syracuse the lead.
Carolina's defense remained tenacious, though, as Holmes Harden ties up Dom Finn, and that leads to a fast break opportunity involving the Wade brothers.
When Carolina gets running, it's very difficult to stop them, and this was the tempo of the game at this point. They wanted to tie it up, and who better than Ryan Wade with that 100-mile-an-hour shot from the midfield. When Ryan Wade gets that left-handed shot and can wrap it around a defensive player, it's tough for the goalie to see. This tied the game at 7.
With a little over a minute to play in the first half, Carolina looking a lot more comfortable, Leif, and that a result of controlling the ball.
Here's Jason Wade, the young freshman, against Doyle, the short sticks defender. Nobody slid to help out Doyle. He'll get called for a penalty.
And indeed it is a 30-second penalty on Michael Doyle, which will put Carolina in its second consecutive extra man offense.
JB, not a bad foul because no slide came to help him out, and you don't want the offensive player going right in the face of your goalie. They'll take their chances in the man-down unit. Don't give up the goal.
And Carolina with possession with less than a minute to play in the first half, again in a 1-3-2 offense.
They like to initiate this man up out of the 1-3-2. They'll cut from this into another formation, and that should cause problems for the defense.
Carolina again cutting men through on the offense. Nice pass to Mike Acey, and Mike Acey with the score.
The goal of an extra man is to create a 2-on-1 somewhere on the field, and they did it beautifully. Spears has the ball here. Here's Thorpe with 2 players to cover. He can't do it. Spears will give it to Webster. Then he clears through and takes Wittick with him. Now Webster has Thorpe caught. And when Thorpe commits to the outside player, that's when Webster sees Acey in the seam on the inside. He makes the feed beautifully. The fake low, the shot high, goal and extra man.
Bob Fazy has handled the majority of the face-off situations for Syracuse here in the first half, and he in fact controls it here.
And usually when Carolina does get it, they rag him like McNichol is doing right now. 2, sometimes 3 players get the ball back on the field, and that starts their possession. This time, Syracuse maintains the ball.
Syracuse looking for a goal here as Carolina has controlled the action here in the second quarter.
Matchup, Ryder against Martin, and Martin tied him up with the stick. He may get called on a hold because he locked the stick under the arm of Ryder, and that's what he'll get, a 30-second hold call.
And that does not sit well with Dave Klarman, who violently objects to the call.
Well, he actually should be pretty happy because in the second quarter, Carolina regained part of the tempo. They've dictated tempo by getting a lot of face-offs, getting a lot of possessions through ground balls, and really setting up a lot of good offensive opportunities for their team.
And although you can't tell it by the reaction of North Carolina coach Dave Klarman, the Tar Heels do lead it 8-7 at the end of the first half. Let's go down to Bob Rule, who's standing by with Syracuse coach Roy Simmons Jr.
Coach, 5 of the last 6 goals by North Carolina. How do you stop them defensively in the second half?
We got to own the ball, Bobby, you know, and your best friend when you're in the cage was the pipe. And it's a great friend today of the Carolina goalie. We have 6 pipe shots in there. We got to get him inside the pipe, and we'll be all right.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
A nip-and-tuck championship affair between Syracuse and North Carolina. And we'll be back to College Park, Maryland after this word from your local station.
The evening news with a difference. Eye on America. Dan Rather and now Connie Chung. Only on the CBS Evening News.
Tonight, Jessica jams in a heavy metal murder.
Who said anything about music and murder going together?
But a different kind of heavy metal could kill her on Murder, She Wrote. Then, the biggest stars return to the stage. Find out who'll win for Best Performances, Best Play, and Musical. Live from Broadway, Liza Minnelli hosts the Tony Awards tonight. This is CBS.
WBAL Radio and the Boomy Temple invite you and the family to the Timonium Fairgrounds for the 50th Annual Royal Hannaford Circus going on now. It's a real old-fashioned circus under the big top, complete with trapeze artists, circus animals, clowns, and fun. There's even a midway. For tickets, stop by the Boomy Temple on Charles Street or the ticket office at the Timonium Fairgrounds. Don't miss the WBAL Radio Boomy Temple Shrine Circus going on now.
Are we going somewhere?
Uh-huh.
Am I going to have a good time?
I think you'll have a real good time.
We're going to Ocean City.
Excuse me, you have checked the weekend weather.
Who's he?
With OC Insta Weather, you'll get the only extended forecast exclusively for Ocean City.
On Wednesday?
And all through Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. Before you travel, stay with WBAL TV 11 News and OC Insta Weather. It's the only accurate forecast for Baltimore and Ocean City.
The King of Late Night, weeknights at 11:30 on TV 11.
Halftime at Byrd Stadium, where Carolina leads Syracuse 8-7. And taking a look back at other NCAA championship lacrosse winners in Division II, it was Adelphi capturing the crown in the first Division II championship held since '81. In Division III, another New York-based school won as Hobart continued its dominance in lacrosse as they captured their 13th title in 14 years and 16th overall. The victim this time, Ohio Wesleyan. And in women's lacrosse, it was the Cavaliers of Virginia representing the ACC well in winning their second lacrosse championship. The Cavaliers knocked off Princeton by the score of 8-6. And in Division III, the title went to Trenton State, which won its 42nd consecutive game. Back here at the University of Maryland, there is no disputing the fact that the Orangemen of Syracuse have performed admirably on the field this year, made all the more remarkable by the fact that they've operated under a cloud of controversy. Now, that controversy centers around the allegations of an ex-player surrounding meal money, academic coursework, and the possible co-signing of a loan. Leif Elsmo spoke earlier today with Roy Simmons Jr., the head coach of Syracuse, about those allegations.
I really haven't assessed what the unsettling attitude has done other than be a great lesson for the kids. We've tried to use it to understand the bumps in life, and the allegations are just that. They're allegations, and I don't think it's relevant to the Final Four.
And we'll be back with the start of the second half of our championship match after this.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. There's got to be a better way. Here's one now. American Express traveler's checks for two. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
I got a new taste that's pure delight. New Pringles sour cream and onion light. That's right. Rich sour cream and tangy onion. Mmm, that taste is really something because the dip is in the chips, so delicious on your lips. Look, compare Pringles to regular chips. Pringles have less fat and they're less greasy too. The proof's in front of you. So grab a bunch of this, not that, and get a whole lot of taste and less of the fat. New Pringles sour cream and onion light. That's right. Once you pop, you, and you can't stop.
When you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, the itching, the cracking, the burning, you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough-actin Tinactin.
Clinically proven Tinactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough-Actin Tinactin.
For those who like to spend lots of time and effort cleaning, shining, and protecting your tires, this is going to be difficult to watch. Because with no-touch tire care, you don't need to rub or wipe your tires to make them look great. It's true. You just spray it on and leave it alone. No touching. Now, we know it's hard, but you've got to fight it. Come on, you can do it. That's good. No-touch tire care. The right touch is no touch.
I thought going away to college meant I didn't have to answer to anybody anymore. I could stay out all night, tailgate before a game, go to a bar after. One Saturday, we even took our victory celebration on the road. I drove straight into a drunk driving conviction, which means that when I get to this question about ever being convicted of a crime, I have to answer yes.
What is there about some cops that will have everybody talking about them Monday morning? See for yourself tonight on 60 Minutes.
Back here at Byrd Stadium as we get set to start the third quarter of play. Leif, you characterized Carolina as opportunistic. Syracuse is high risk. Pretty much the case in the first half.
Absolutely. The high risk offense and defense of Syracuse has hurt them late in the second quarter. 2 extra man goals for Carolina, 2 fast break goals for Carolina. Syracuse has been putting constant pressure on, but those breakdowns cost them goals.
Only a 1-goal difference right now. What do you expect to see second half?
Well, Syracuse has been watching. They've had great success from the midfield out front shooting on Lehrman, but they've got to hit the 36 square feet. If they do from out front, they're going to cause problems for Lehrman in North Carolina.
Carolina coach Klarman is hoping that his team can continue the momentum of the second quarter, one that saw his squad outscore Syracuse 5-2.
And that is historically Syracuse's best quarter by far. Throughout the season, they've outscored opposition 71-20 in that quarter.
Syracuse with the first offensive opportunity, and the shot is wide to the left of the goal. And Syracuse will maintain possession.
Again, a lot of pressure from the midfield. They get the ball from behind out front and are taking those shots that have proved to be problems for Lehrman.
No casual approach to the ball will go unchallenged by Carolina. Carolina comes up with the ground ball. This is Holmes Harden.
That is the key to their defense. This team is so sound defensively. They like the ball on the carpet. They'll check it out in aggressive defensive fashion, and then they start their transition.
Dan Levy with the pass attempt for Cal Durkee, who just missed it. Syracuse recovers.
Now they'll get it to Saran. He'll start the transition. His outlet pass is as good as anybody's in Division I lacrosse.
And the pass to Charlie Lockwood with a full head of steam. Takes the left lane and scores. Charlie Lockwood with the score for Syracuse.
Well, Lockwood's been a little bit quiet in the first half. He was pressing late in the first half because he wants to be an impact player. He's an All-American now that gets the left-handed shot from McNichol, takes it, and beats Lehrman on that play. That'll help ease up some of the pressure on the great All-American.
And we're tied again at 8 apiece.
Steve Shatner with the shot. You know, this midfield, JB, of Shatner, Muir, and Collins, the third midfield for Carolina, has surprised Syracuse by being an offensive threat.
This is Webster with the pass in the crease. Shatner unable to control it, and Syracuse gets possession of that ground ball.
Saran outlets to Rick Beardsley. Of all the defensemen, this guy has the most confidence. An All-American who has great stick skills from the defensive end of the field. This is part of the high-risk play that Roy Simmons is concerned about.
And Beardsley takes a behind-the-back shot, and there's a flag on the play.
Beardsley created problems. Usman Green is going to get called for a hold. A technical foul, 30 seconds. This is why Roy Simmons lives with high risk. More often than not for Syracuse, the dividends are good. Now Syracuse will have an extra man play for 30 seconds, a chance to get another goal.
And it's pretty apparent that Syracuse has picked up the tempo here in the third quarter, trying to force the action against Gary Lehrman.
Well, both offenses benefit from that energized defense. Aggressive defense starts good offense.
And the offense here starts behind the goal. This is Matt Ryder acting as a point guard, if you will.
They started a 1-4-1. Now they're cutting into a different formation, bringing Archer behind to a 2-3-1.
One of the reasons, again, for going behind the goal so much is to get the goalie turned around, Leif.
It's tough for him to maintain a sense of where he is when he has to do that 360.
There's a pass to Bettinger, and Bettinger scores. Syracuse breaks the tie and leads it 9-8.
Ball came from behind to Bettinger. He does a nice job of wrapping the shot around the defensive player. The player screens the goalie Lehrman, and goal number 9 for Syracuse.
So Steve Bettinger with his second goal of the contest, giving the Orangemen a 9-8 lead, and Dave Klarman knows he's got to keep his squad pumped up against a quick strike Syracuse team.
Each team is capable of scoring a lot of goals in a row. 5 straight goals for Syracuse earlier in this game. Carolina had a 3-goal run of their own.
Dan Levy with the ball, passes ahead to Spears. Spears shot, great save by Chris Saran of Syracuse.
Maybe the best save of the game so far. And look at the outlet, tremendous outlet to get the ball into the offensive end of the field for Syracuse.
Ground ball looking to be controlled. And a great check by Andy Pusha.
Freshly pushed out of bounds. The ball will go to Syracuse, but this all started with the biggest save of the game for Saran. He goes down and just gobbles up that shot by Spears, collects it while he's on his back, and then outlets to his defensive midfielders.
Syracuse with its second midfield line in of Colsey, Fietta, and Fenn.
This line really creates some problems for the defense of Carolina. They are so loaded with firepower. Colsey and Fenn, All-Americans. And when they get the ball out front, all eyes of the defense are focused on their talents.
Good close defense provided by Carolina. That time Syracuse comes back out to set it up. Little give and go with Fietta and Colsey with the shot. He scores.
Finally, Syracuse gets a goal from their leading scorer in the midfield. 2 of the last 3 goals from All-American midfielders, and this is a good sign for Syracuse.
And Syracuse with a 2-goal lead, refusing to let up on the pressure on Gary Lehrman. They know it's a big game for him, and so does Roy Simmons Jr.
And for Syracuse, in crunch time, look for the midfields. They've been scoring, and for Klarman, his attackmen have to pick up some slack and get him some goals.
Jude Collins and Andy Pusha on the face-off, and Collins controls.
Well, this has been a great 1, 2, 3, 4-man punch they've got coming at you from the midfield. 4 guys facing off that can really wear you down late in the game.
So Steve Spears trying to find an opening on the offensive end.
A lot of this game, JB, they've had Webster out front, and they've been trying to get him the ball to finish it off. He's a great shooter. He's out in front right now.
And Webster comes across the crease, and the shot by Webster is good. North Carolina draws back within one, 10-9.
Webster did a great job of just accelerating past short stick midfielder Pusha. Got in top of the crease, and a good feed gave him time and space to make that shot.
Third goal of the game for John Webster as Chris Saran is looking to clear. A little unusual, Saran having to take it up so far.
Well, JB, North Carolina is inviting Saran to bring it up. They're hoping to trap him in the defensive end of the field.
Instead, Saran slips inside and shoots on goal. The goalie tried to score himself. And now Saran has got the task of running all the way back downfield. It's an empty net right now.
He's not back yet. Bresci has the ball. He's hustling, finally getting back to the crease area. They got away with one there.
TJ Shemitis recognizing no advantage there, bringing it back out front to set it up. One guy not complaining about the controlled offense here, Chris Saran, getting a chance to catch his breath. Donnie McNichol on a clear-out situation, operating one-on-one against John Barr. Spin move. McNichol shoots point-blank shot and scores. Donnie McNichol ties the ball game at 10 apiece.
John Barr showing some of that high-risk defense. It got him in trouble there. He got behind the offensive player. McNichol comes up big for his team.
Morning breath.
Once you're married, you get used to it.
Deep down, you know it's a problem.
I don't smell anything.
Lucky you.
Morning breath. If I had it, they'd tell me.
Ignoring morning breath won't make it go away. Scope will. Scope kills morning breath bacteria on contact to help get your whole mouth clean.
Is my morning breath really a big problem?
There's no denying it's a problem. Kiss morning breath goodbye. Scope.
Does your full commission broker have you trapped in fees? Fees for trading, fees for not trading, even exit fees when you close your account. There is a better way. Charles Schwab has accounts with no annual fees and a wide variety of mutual funds with no loads. And for a limited time, this unique offer.
We'll rebate your exit fees when you move your account to Schwab.
If you feel trapped in fees,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
See this? It won't make you smarter. When it was decided how smart you'd be, your credit limit didn't matter. You can't buy intelligence, okay? Well, maybe you could. I mean, no card is more accepted on the planet than MasterCard. So you could buy books and computers and chemistry sets, and that could make you smarter. And Master Values discounts can save you up to 25% at thousands of stores. And if that's not buying intelligence, at least it's buying intelligently. So maybe a MasterCard could make you smarter. We ought to get you on a quiz show. MasterCard. It's more than a credit card. It's smart money.
The final battle for the national title. The 1993 College World Series Championship game. Next Saturday on CBS Sports.
No matter where you're seated for this championship action, the view is good as the action has been on the field. In the remaining moments of the third quarter, the name of the game was great goaltending by both teams.
And this is Saran making a sensational stop. He has been very good keeping his team in it. On the other end of the field, Lehrman makes 7 saves in the third quarter and really was the reason that Carolina ended up tied.
A sensational over-the-shoulder shot by Lockwood is off the pipe. Another pipe shot by Syracuse. This looks to be a good goal by Matt Ryder, but it's waved off. That's because he was in the crease. You know, Carolina basketball has had a tremendous influence on the lacrosse team. That's because each of the last 3 times that Carolina's men's basketball team has gone to the Final Four, later that spring, the lacrosse team has won the national championship. And we all know that the Carolina men's basketball team won this year's championship. So will this scene of years past repeat itself for the lacrosse team? And does Dave Klarman now rub elbows with Dean Smith?
I don't know him. I mean, you know, he's the head coach of the University of North Carolina basketball team, and I've parked his car when I was working games operations, and he knows who I am now because he's seen me park his car so much when I was an assistant coach.
And I'm sure Dean Smith is also aware that Dave Klarman has won a national championship and been in 2 finals in only 3 years as a head coach. His program has the team to beat, and Gary Lehrman now starts the 4th quarter with a lot of pressure on him. Chris Saran also knows that in a tight game like this, it always comes down to the goalie.
The last quarter of championship action remaining. Bob Fazy and Jude Collins on the faceoff, and Collins controls for North Carolina. Collins initiates the fast break himself, coming in from the right side of the goal. And Collins continues with the shot. The save by Saran, but Collins winds up in the crease.
Well, he was pushed by Fazy. That's a technical foul, and possession will go back to Carolina.
A very calm Roy Simmons Jr. on the sidelines. He's been here before, 23 years as a head coach at Syracuse, the only coach to win 4 national titles.
JB, Carolina initiating offense with Webster, the attackman, up top in the midfield.
And a nice check by Rick Beardsley.
And Beardsley inviting danger. Again, the high-risk defense going to the offensive end.
Loose ball, and Beardsley pays the price as Alex Martin levels him, but we've got a whistle and a stoppage of play.
Well, the ball was loose. Martin came up and shoved Beardsley off the ball. That's a technical foul, and it'll just be possession. No time served. Syracuse will retain possession of the ball.
Dom Finn passing over to Roy Colsey. Colsey, recognizing he's got a long stick defender, gives the ball back to Dom Finn.
Finn's a great one-on-one player.
And Finn with the score.
Big goal for Dom Finn. He is so quick, maybe the quickest player on the field, and he can go right or left. They cover Colsey with a long stick. Dom Finn comes back to take charge of the midfield.
And Syracuse continuing with the script of the first 3 quarters, scoring in the first minute of each quarter.
And every one of those goals was by a midfielder. That's where they take charge of the game. They get possession and bring it right down your throat on the offensive end of the field.
Carolina with possession.
Got their first midfield unit in there. McNichol, Durkee, and Shemitis.
Looking for a defensive mismatch here.
They're really being patient. They want to make sure every possession counts, and Carolina can afford to do that. They can handle the ball beautifully and make a lot of passes.
Nice pass to McNichol. Shot saved by Saran. Another great save by Chris Saran.
He's made several point-blank saves late in this game.
Carolina sending 2 men to the ground ball.
But Shatner has to protect it. He's a little bit loose. He gets it checked out at the last moment. Syracuse hustling just like the trademark for Carolina. 2 and 3 guys to the loose ball, out of bounds to stop play.
And there's a break in the action here in the 4th quarter. Syracuse leading North Carolina 11-10.
Have you ever paid a toll without slowing down? Bought concert tickets from a cash machine?
Yeah, perfect.
Or tucked your baby in from a phone booth? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
Dan O'Brien?
Okay, Dan, I'll show you to your truck.
Do our new computerized reservations make renting from Ryder faster than ever?
What's that name again? Dave! 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 Dave.
No contest. Call 1-800-GO-RYDER.
If you want to save money on home repairs, listen up. Thompson's Wood Protector Preservative has more of everything wood needs to protect it, from water, sun, and mildew damage. Consider yourself told. Thompson's Wood Protector Preservative. It's #1 for wood.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. Nah, that's no good. But this is American Express traveler's checks for 2. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
It's different. A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
I'm a sensitive guy, right? So I tried it.
Big man.
It's good. It was great. The Big Twin Select. Normal, sensitive.
It really blew me away.
You made a big man out of me.
I'm a big man. Big man.
A bird's eye view by a couple of fans just outside of Bird Stadium. And although they're not included in the official crowd count, still a sizable audience on hand, just some 3,000 plus shy of the largest record that also established right here at Bird Stadium.
Well, the closest thing to a score for North Carolina here in the fourth quarter came when Donnie McNichol rang a shot off of 2 pipes behind Chris Saran. He finally gets control in the crease, but McNichol about a half an inch from scoring the 11th goal for Carolina.
Syracuse in possession, and this is an ideal matchup here, Leif.
It's the best against the best. This is Matt Ryder against Martin for Carolina. Martin's a tremendous position defenseman. He will not give his position bodily. It's very tough to get past him to get a good shot on goal.
Matt Ryder is trying to do exactly that, but again, that strong defense that you were talking about evident there.
And he pushed him a little bit too much. He might get a call for it. There's a whistle blown. With possession, that would be 30 seconds, and that's the call. Number 8, Alex Martin, goes into the box. You don't see that call made that often, but you can only give equal pressure to the offensive player. He shoved him away from the goal. 30 seconds, and they'll be extra for Syracuse.
So Syracuse with a golden opportunity, extra man offense in play.
They like to start in the 1-3-2, and then right away now they rotate out of it.
Shot out front by Lockwood is off the mark, and it'll stay Syracuse ball.
Charlie Lockwood, tremendous velocity from out front, and it really has to get a lot of attention from that defense.
Lockwood has the nickname Laser.
And he's got the velocity right-handed or left-handed.
Syracuse still in an EMO shot. This one is good. The rocket shot by Roy Colsey, and Syracuse is out in front by the score of 12-10.
Colsey gets goal number 2 on the day, and that's what makes Syracuse so dangerous. If it's not Colsey, it's Lockwood or maybe Barr, even Dom Finn. A lot of firepower from the midfield.
Although a 2-goal lead by Syracuse, as we've seen, Leif, that lead has not been big enough this game.
It hasn't held up 2 times before. In lacrosse, a 2-goal lead doesn't scare you as much as a 3-goal lead. That's when you start getting nervous. The game starts to get out of control.
Carolina on the offensive end.
Well, Donnie McNichol comes back to get the ball. Doyle is playing defense on him, and McNichol has been a focal point of the offense here in crunch time.
Jason Wade rolling free on the crease. The shot by Wade is off the mark, and it goes out of bounds, and North Carolina will retain possession.
Dan Levy inbounds to Jason Wade.
And Jason Wade with the ball again, looking for an opportunity. And Jason Wade shoots and scores. Jason Wade makes it a 1-goal game.
Wade did a nice job of inverting from the midfield, getting the ball from Levy. Then he comes around for the left-handed shot. A young freshman, Ryan Wade's brother, makes a big impact in the fourth quarter.
And you wonder if Chris Saran is thinking back to last year's championship matchup against Princeton, an overtime affair where Saran gave up the winning goal. Face-off controlled by North Carolina's Jude Collins.
And the freshman Jude Collins has been so successful late in the game here at facing off that Syracuse is trying to solve him by using Andy Pusha instead of Bob Fazy.
Under 2 minutes to play in the contest in regulation. And Leif, who would Carolina want to have the ball in the hands of?
Well, McNichol's been the guy they've gone to. He has it now. This has been a leader emotionally as well as on the scoreboard all year long.
McNichol operating on John Barr. He beat him at the other end of the field, and he beats him here. Donnie McNichol ties the game at 12 apiece.
McNichol's second goal and 2 of the last 3 for his Carolina squad. Big-time goal, ties it up at 12.
This is exactly the kind of game that the fans came to see. A 12-12 tie with 1:24 left in regulation.
Roy Simmons has been there a lot of times, and of course last year was not a great experience for him. If you're Coach Klarman, you're thinking, get possession. It's won it for us all year. Let's get the ground ball, and let's get the face-off. Now, on the face-off, they have a new man in there. They haven't been able to stop Jude Collins, so Fazy is back in to try to get it for Syracuse.
And Fazy comes up with the face-off. This is Dom Finn. Pass inside. Shot stuffed by Lehrman.
Chad Smith's got the ball back on the ground. Archer picks it up, shoots it on open net.
Chad Smith with the rebound, leaps and shoots. The rebound, Ryder scores. Oh no, they're waving the goal off. It's being disallowed.
JB, Chad Smith air shot landed him in the crease. That's the infraction right there. Watch his feet in the crease. Play stops right there. The follow-up by Ryder is disallowed. No goal for Syracuse.
So North Carolina with possession, a big possession by North Carolina, under a minute to play in regulation.
Of course, clearing becomes critical. They haven't had much problem today. Syracuse not pressing.
Ryan Wade, a nice check by Syracuse and recovered by Syracuse.
This is Whittick from the defensive end. They're going to have a shot up front.
Archer, a nice pass. The shot by Ryder. Off the mark with 38 seconds left.
Syracuse will have possession, and they'll have time to set up at least one more play.
If there's one man who doesn't want overtime, it's that man there, Chris Saran.
If it does go to overtime, it'll be 4-minute sudden death periods. Charlie Lockwood on the isolation.
Lockwood on the inside. The shot deflected by Lehrman.
Charlie Lockwood was called for being in the crease. Possession goes to Carolina. Now with under 40 seconds, they'll have a chance for the last shot.
Boy, what a game. What a game. Carolina with an opportunity to win it in regulation.
Shamitis is bringing it in. This is not their first midfield.
Stolen by Beardsley. The ball is loose. Ground ball controlled by Syracuse. Reggie Thorpe passes ahead to
Watch
Schmidt.
the hit.
What a pass by Schmidt.
He's got Ryder.
Ahead to Matt Ryder. And Ryder shoots and scores. Syracuse ahead 13-12.
This play had the registered trademark of Syracuse fast break written all over it. How about this for high risk? Thorpe up to Schmid. He gets hammered by the defense and just gets it off to Lockwood. Lockwood flies down the middle, finds Ryder coming across with no defenseman on him. Now it's Ryder on Lehrman. He finds the spot and hits it before he steps in the crease.
8 seconds remaining in the game on this faceoff, and the clock is winding down. That does it. The number 3 seed, Syracuse, upends number 1, North Carolina, for the national title. For the Tar Heels, Gary Lehrman, 18 saves, but not the one that counted.
And Chris Saran goes from losing in overtime last year to the MVP of this year's championship game.
And for Billy Day, he can only think what might have been if he had been in goal. Let's head down to the field to Bob Rule, who's standing by with the man who scored the game winner, Matt Ryder.
Matt, 2 goals today. 5 seconds ago, you're going down on the goal. What are you thinking?
Well, that's what we do in practice every single day, and I got a lot of practice of it. You just got to give the goalie one fake. He'll hesitate, and you just blow it right by him. And he just hesitated just for a second. I found my favorite corner, top right, and it went in.
Congratulations. Great game.
Thanks.
A memorable 5th NCAA title for Roy Simmons Jr. So for Leif Elsmo and Bob Rule, this is James Brown saying so long from College Park, Maryland. Coming up next, it's the NCAA men's and women's outdoor track and field championships.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1993 NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is sponsored by Ryder Truck Rental. Ryder, we're there when you need us. AT&T, the right choice. And by the new Bic Twin Select for normal and sensitive skin. There's a Bic for every beard.
This royal throne of kings, this earth of majesty, this little world,